Watch Transit TV right now.
Miar mo na ultimo comentario uno. Keep watching Transit TV and stay more for premium content. Otra vez,
when they saw the scoreline at 1-0 and Ghana is playing away from home, they were like, oh my goodness, these guys are really going to pull up a miracle. But they didn't even play like a team that wanted to pull up a miracle. I even have something against Mohamed Kudus because he was a bit selfish in that game. Just two players from
Transit TV, welcome back to the studio. We are following up with our coverage of the AFCON 2025 qualifiers. Just watched Ghana crash out of the competition after playing a 1-1 draw away to Angola. And we have Mr. Kwanzaa on the studio today. Victor is here as well to look at this game and probably talk a little bit more about the state of Ghanaian football at the moment. Mr. Kwanzaa, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Victor, good to see you again, bro.
Yeah, we are here this time talking about Ghanaian football in the AFCON qualifiers. Promises to be interesting.
Yes, Mr. Kwanzaa, before we start, our viewers would like to know a little bit more about you. You're also a YouTuber and you discuss Ghanaian football. Can you tell our viewers out there a little bit of what you do for this game of football out there in Ghana?
Yeah, well, okay. So thank you very much for this opportunity. So as the viewers know, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a passionate sports enthusiast, and then but primarily I'm a chemical engineer. I'm currently in the pharmaceutical industry, so I'm kind of doing process engineering in pharmaceuticals. And then since sports is something I've been doing since childhood, I can't let it slide. I just have to take it along. So I'm currently into YouTube, and I do some panditry jobs with Media General in Ghana, and then I do reporting for Sports Bloom UK as well. So yes, basically this is Mr. Kwanzaa.
So what's the name of your channel?
My channel is Ghana Premier League Extra. So it focuses more on the local football, the Ghana Premier League, since we don't really have people to project it. So I just look at that opportunity to just amplify how good and hopefully better Ghana football will be in the future. Okay.
Yeah, our viewers, we're going to put the name and the link on the description of this video so you can check him out if you also want to know a little bit more about Ghanaian football, especially their league. We also have our own show that we do with MPFL, Nigerian Premier League show that we do as well. So yeah, we'll probably be having you a little bit more on the show so that we can, help each other to people to see more of what's going on in the each countries. Yeah, good to have you on the show. Like I said earlier today, Ghana played out a 1-1 draw after going ahead through a very sumptuous free kick by Jordan Ayew, a player that I've criticized so much that he never scores goals, regardless of how technically gifted that he is. But he came up today with a very wonder goal. I thought Ghana was going to build up from there, but eventually, we'll continue to see what we've been seeing from the national team. I don't know, what did you make about that game today? Do you think Ghana did enough to get something out of the game, or was that a fair result?
Yeah, so this result is actually not surprising. From what some of us may not draw far away in Luanda, Angola. It's just a test or something to show the state of our football currently. Yes, we've got into a state where things are in shambles. Nothing is working for Ghana football. So if you look at the result we got today, that's not even a true reflection. Yeah, so as the result today is just an iota of how bad Ghana football has been for some time now. And then I'm happy at the point in time because if we had gotten a win, the Ghanaians would have just forgotten, the Football Association would have forgotten how bad it is and thought, even in our worst situation, we've gotten qualification to the AFCON. Then we go to that point, disgrace ourselves as we've been doing the last 2 editions. So yes, if you look at the Ghana's performance in the last international tournament, it has been on a downward spiral. It has been coming down right from AFCON 2019. We were eliminated, or let's take from 2017, we even got to the semi-finals. In 2019, we were eliminated from the round of 16 by Morocco. In 2021 from the group stages, and 2020 just the last edition from group stages, and we are at the point where we are not qualifying. So I think that shows how bad it has been from time to time, and it is showing for itself. Maybe in the next one, if you don't rectify our things, well, we get to this state again, and then it continues like that. But this is also supposed to be a wake-up call for the people leading Ghana football to not to just put at the back of their minds that we are a powerhouse of African football. Now everyone is learning how to play football. People are not just doing football because it's their passion. They are doing football as business and something they can actually take up. You look at a country like Burundi, who is not good at playing football, but you see their referees in cup games, officiating big games. So that's the way they're also doing their football. So I think it's just a test and something to show that Ghana football has actually sunk.
Yeah, usually, Victor, before I come to you, let me still stay with one side right there. Usually, when things like this happen for us in Nigeria, most of the time, people look at the coach, especially when you have a local coach. Ghana right now has a lot of players who are playing in Europe, who are good players. I was looking at Kudus today. If you don't know him, you wouldn't even know he's on that pitch. Do you think, does this have anything to do, and Ghanaians believe that the coaching probably is part? I know there are other things that are affecting the football in Ghana, but in terms of the performance, because whatever happens, once you cross that line, it's all about tactics, it's all about commitment, it's all about what you can show. Do you think that the coaching probably is not up to par with the level that the players are at the moment?
This coach is the same coach who took Ghana to the 2022 AFCON or World Cup ahead of Nigeria. Well, so if he could do it that time, then why is he not able to do it now? So it's not. I feel it's not just about what we see on the pitch. It is what you do off the pitch that translates into what comes onto the pitch, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I wouldn't just put the blame on the coach, because Ghana has been sacking coaches time to time, and then it has still been going down. Yes, unless we get a Pep Guardiola coach or a Jose Mourinho, there's no way Ghana football is going up with how we are even doing it from the grassroots. So it's not just the coaching problem. The problem of Ghana kind of looks like salad. There's a bit of everything inside, which makes up the whole problem. So if you take out the coach, just taking one element, and what do you do about the others? We actually need to get a system, like something that should be a transition, a consistency that a part Ghana football is facing, a part Ghana football is following. A DNA that people could tell that this is how Ghana play their football. You can go to Spain, and that is, you can tell that they're actually following a path. And that's why they're going to international tournaments, and you see their juvenile side doing well, then translates into the senior team. So even if the junior side is not doing it, then it's hard, because it's one of these players that we are going to promote to the senior national team. So that's why in the senior national team, we will go to countries like UK, US, and others looking for people who are related to Ghana. They will call them, who don't really understand the Ghana football. They come here, they don't get the ample time to even understand how Ghana football is. So that's why you see Inaki Williams flying for Aleppo Bilbao. He comes to Ghana and he's not being able to play. Look at Antoine Semenyo doing very well for Bournemouth. He comes to Ghana and he's even finding it difficult to put the goal at the back of the net. It's because we need to get people who understand the Ghana. So it's not just about coaching. It's a totality. We should look at everything. Coaching, this coach is a very young coach, and then I feel someone who comes from Borussia Dortmund has actually learned football very well, and he has been a talent manager for Dortmund as well. So he has looked into talent, how to develop talent. So I'm one of those people who feel optimistic with this coach. Let's just allow him, give him the time, commit the mistakes with the team, and then allow him, give him the freedom to do whatever he wants to do with him. Because today we're talking about Angola, Gonçalves. Gonçalves is a coach who has a Portuguese background, and then the Portuguese understand, but the Angolans understand the Portuguese very well. They are the colonial masters. So they translate whatever the Portuguese are doing into their football. The Gonçalves are talking about today is someone who has coached the juvenile sides of Angola. So then he brings these people that he has coached into the senior level, and there's a system that they are playing. So you really understand it in the junior level, and you come to the senior level, and then he just tops up. So I think it encompasses a lot of things.
We're going to go into details on Ghanaian football. Of course, there are so many facets to it, like you mentioned. There is funding, there is government oversee, there is a players' commitment. There are so many things. I know in Africa as well. You mentioned corruption and all that. But Victor, staying on this game, let me ask you. You know, I was looking at that game. It looked like Ghana, like Pastor mentioned right there, we're going to escape it because they look a little bit of more business result oriented or motivated. While the Angolans were playing the game, they really are class. Ghana, they are taking their time, sticking to their style and trying to get a result. But Ghana was just trying to get a result, and it almost worked for them. I don't know what looking at those two teams, where would you want to be? Is it like the team that wants to win, or do you like the way the Angolans approached that game? Because they really looked like an European side playing football. They were not in a hurry to execute anything.
Well, I would say I've been following up Angola. In fact, since the last AFCON, I've not really watched Angola. And I don't want to say that, they were so fantastic today, because I don't know if maybe it's because Ghana, were so bad and that's why they were so fantastic. But I doubt, because, they are currently topping their group.
Exactly. 13 points.
A couple of games and amassed a lot of points as well. So I think Angola, they are a very decent side. But today's game, I think Ghana were lucky. Yes. They just had that one brilliance from Jordan Ayew from that free kick, and it got into the back of the net. And I was singing it. I was even tweeting it on Twitter, now X. You don't go 1-0 up and then you sit back. You know what is at stake. Ghana needs to qualify out of the next round. You don't go 1-0 up and sit back. For a major part of the game, Ghana were sitting back. And I was like, wondering what is happening? Angola, even at the very last 10 minutes of the game, Angola were still pressing forward.
Still pushing. Exactly.
Still pushing forward. So I feel like, Ghana did not approach this game in the right way, honestly speaking.
But what do you expect? The team that is rooted last in their group, that's how bad they are. So did you expect them to come and show any superiority over Angola? Angola, like I said, you could see that Angola have a way of playing, and they stuck to it. Yeah. They were disciplined to it. They didn't, even when they go down, they were not in a hurry to equalize. They just kept playing the game the way they know they should play it, and the result came. Like you mentioned, eventually they even created more chances. Even missed a penalty, if you remember in the game.
Yeah, they missed a penalty save. Yeah. For me, honestly, I would say the Angolans, really did their best, but Ghana could pull up a miracle. Ghana did something against Nigeria, stopped them from going to the World Cup. Ghana, they are a powerhouse. They are 4 times, champions of the African Cup of Nations. So I was expecting more like a miracle. Ghana needed was to win their next 2 games, and probably we'll be talking about Ghana in the Morocco 2025. So everyone who saw the scoreline, because a lot of persons were not even watching the game, including Ghanaians themselves. When they scored, they saw the scoreline at 1-0, and Ghana is playing away from home. They were like, "Oh my goodness, these guys are really going to pull up a miracle." But they didn't even play like a team that wanted to pull up a miracle. I even have something against Mohamed Kudus, because he was a bit selfish in that game. Just 2 players for me were impressive for Ghana today. It's the defender who plays for the local league in Ghana. I think Qualifiers will help us with his name, and then the goalkeeper as well, who made 1 or 2 fantastic saves, and also that penalty. So for me, the Ghanaian team were abysmal. Nothing to show, like they couldn't even complete passes. At the 60th minute, it was almost 80% to 10% to 20% ball possession, in favor of the Angolans. And it doesn't tell well for Ghanaian football. And like Quanta has analyzed, it's not just about, their style of play or just one factor, the coach is not good. There are a lot of contributing, elements. Yeah, factors that, make up the fact that Ghana are having a real bad time in African football.
Yeah, I can't agree any better
Well, I think with this situation, because they failed to communicate the actual thing happening with Partey to Ghanaians, hence has gotten some Ghanaians upset, not even understanding what's going on with Partey. Partey was not really fit, so Coach Otuado invited him, and then he told the management committee of Ghana football that he football player is not fit. They then requested for the player to fly from London to Ghana for them to test the player, of which the player said
Your network is really bad.
I didn't know network in Ghana is so terrible.
Yeah, we didn't really get the network was hanging. So what did he say about the
Panta, can you repeat everything you said so that it can be edited and then cut out the parts the network was glitching?
Sure. So I go now.
All right, go on.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I was saying that the communications with the side, or on the side of the Ghana football, has been very abysmal with the situation of Thomas Partey, which has in turn gotten most Ghanaians upset with the player, and some not even understanding the real situation on grounds. Is that understandable? So the situation was that in the round of qualification, the previous one before this, the double header against Sudan, the player was called or was invited by Coach Otuado. The Arsenal medical team communicated to Ghana Football Association that the player was unfit. The association then requested for the player to fly from London all the way to Ghana just to be tested. But the player said he doesn't find that too comfortable in the situation he was at the moment. I think if we really wanted the well-being of Thomas Partey, really cared about his well-being, we would have just arranged a medical team in London to just test him rather than flying to Ghana just to make sure that he's fit or not. But we didn't do any of that. We were just in Ghana communicating to the people that Partey willingly doesn't want to come. We are not with Partey, so we can't just be on Partey side or the FA side. But if we really wanted the well-being of our captain, that would have been the best position to do, because there are a lot of Ghanaian doctors up in London. They did a lot of good doctors up in London. So we could have just contracted someone to just do the medical test for him, which is even better than the one we would do in Ghana, right? So we didn't do that. And in this round of qualification, or this round of matches, the coach at the presser, the squad announcement said, Partey requested to come, but he declined Partey coming. Okay? And he didn't give any specific reason why he declined.
You mean in this match?
Yes.
Okay.
In this one, the coach said Thomas Partey requested to be called, and he himself told him he will not call him, which in a way to me seems like a punishment for him declining to come.
Yeah.
Footballers are human beings before being footballers, and they have emotions. They do get injuries. They do think about themselves. So sometimes we shouldn't just see them as footballers, but we should see them as human beings.
Yeah.
All right. So Partey has a responsibility to represent Ghana as a captain. He then asked to come. He declined him. So what's the assurance that in March he will play World Cup qualifier? But if you call him and he says he's not coming,
Yeah, because
I think,
like I said, Partey has had serious injury concerns, and he has even come to play for Ghana sometimes when he hasn't played for Arsenal for a long time. He just recovers and comes, gets injured again, goes back. So even I watch EPL. I'm an Arsenal fan. Sometimes when I see him sprinting, I kind of hold my chest that, hey, I hope he doesn't pull anything. So, yeah, like you mentioned, that the coach should be a little bit understanding with Partey, knowing that he's had his injury history in the recent years, and not just be that hard. And again, mentioning that he's the captain of the national team, there should be some level of communication between the captain and the coach. It shouldn't be something that they should be doing on the pages of newspaper or for the internet. And from what you have just said, it looks like that communication, that relationship has broken down. And at the end of the day, is Ghanaian football that's going to lose from it, because Partey is almost getting to the end of his career. So if he cannot use him to help Ghanaian football right now, he'll focus on his club football and move on from there. So I believe the coach should rethink it and find a different way to handle this situation so that the Ghanaian football will benefit from it. And because Partey is a player of massive and immense technical qualities that can help Ghana. I remember the role that he played to stop Nigeria from going to the World Cup. In that game, he was mercurial. He was unplayable that day. So when you remember the displays like that, you don't want to lose that kind of player in your squad. So going into